Well, here it is, the 30th of November, so it's time for our November update, but you're going to say, well, look, it really looks like you haven't achieved very much for the whole month. I mean, this is not much further advanced than it was last month. Well, in fact, it is, and let's do a bit of a walk around and we'll see what advances I've made, but you're going to be surprised. It's not very much. Okay, let's have a look at what we've achieved for the month. I guess we can. We'll start over here. We'll start over here with the flight controls. Get the horizontal stabilizer here in front, the elevator there behind, and the rudder over there. But we already did the rudder some time ago. Over here on the interplane struts. Oh, this is not very good. Got a bit of an old overcasty sort of a day today, so lighting might be a bit of a problem. This is a better view, I think. Here's the interplane struts. They were actually fairly difficult. They were fairly difficult to cover because there's so many different angles pointed all over the place, but I'm happy with the way they turned out. They look pretty good. Obviously, you can see the wings are back on again. The reason for putting the wings on, first of all, I put the lower wings on because I wanted to put the upper wings on, and you can't put the upper wings on without the lower wings on. I'm not happy with the fit between the fuselage and the wing on either side, so I need to trim a little bit more off. I put the lower wings on so I could mark them. Same on this side. It needs a few pieces, a few millimetres trimmed off as well. So I'll do that when the wings come back off again. The wings will come back off for covering fairly soon, within the next couple of days. I also wanted the upper wings on. Let's see. I've run the pitot tube, which is running just behind the spar there, which is this clear plastic tubing. It goes up and over the spar there and comes to a point right here where I'll be able to get at it to disconnect it. Obviously, the whole wing will be fabricked, and I need to be able to get to that piece of plastic tube there to connect to the pitot system. So you've got to think that through a little bit as you go. Okay, while the upper wings are on, I've run the fuel lines properly and connected them up, so they'll just run. Oh, where's my fuel tap? Mine's got a fuel tap there. Yeah, well, mine doesn't. Mine has a fuel tap down here on this sub panel, which you can take a look at in a second. Remember this? This is my fuel selector valve. It'll be left tank, right tank, or auxiliary tank. And the auxiliary, because this engine, it's going to chew some fuel. There's no two ways about it. And we only carried whatever it is, 26 litres per side, which is not going to feed that engine for very long. So there'll be another fuel tank go in lieu of the front seat. And of course, it'll be connected here and through that fuel selector valve and off to the engine. So that's I've still got to think that through, but it doesn't matter. I've got time to do that. Okay, so that's the fuel system. That's the fuel valve. down here on the sub panel. Oh, how the hell do you tell how much fuel you've got when you're flying? You need some sort of a gauge glass, which I've also, this is not all that easy, but anyway, let's hop in here without dropping the aeroplane off the jacks. These are my fuel level indicators. I will mark on this is the rib, the rib for the fuel tank. There's the fuel filler points here on each tank. So I've installed those. Hopefully this blue plastic tubing works. It's actually the fuel resistant stuff. If it doesn't work, then I guess I'm going to have to replace them reasonably often. So anyway, that's done. The only other thing I need to do up here is I need to install a panel over the top to fare both them, and of course underneath as well, so that this will be more or less the pilot's view, about there somewhere. Where are we? There somewhere. So maybe if you lean forward or whatever, you can see the blue tubes. See how much fuel you've got. Now, there's got to be a fairing under here between the two wings as well as on the top, same as on the top. It needs a couple of slots cut in it so I can still see those tubes through the slots, and then maybe a piece of perspex put on the top of the slots. So that's so at the moment what I need to do is install these two fairings, the upper fairing and the lower one underneath the upper wings. Then the wings can come off. The wing tips can be installed, and start the covering process on the wings. So I'm fairly well advanced on it. I'm also fairly well advanced and virtually ready to start covering the fuselage as well. So that'll probably be this coming month. Well, we've got Christmas in there as well, so maybe January. But anyway, that'll be happening. Something that you can maybe help me out with regards to rigging this aeroplane. What the drawing calls for is what the drawing calls for is that this angle between this bell crank and this rib, which is very sort of difficult because it's not a rib, it's a hole, that angle needs to be 11 degrees. What I'm considering doing is drilling down through set that up to 11 degrees and drilling down through this tube and into the bell crank so that I can put a rigging pin to hold it in place at 11 degrees. And of course, once it is at 11 degrees, you then streamline the aileron, which is fairly much going to be correct anyway. It's pretty good, but it's not perfect. And then you also adjust this, the actual controls stick. You put the stick vertical and adjust this horizontal rod that goes left-right until the bolts go in properly without any problems. And there you are, the ailerons are rigged. That should give you the right amount of differential aileron when you're flying. So, but this whole 11-degree thing, I can do it now while there's no fabric on, but if I ever have to do it again in the future, I'm really thinking there should be some sort of a mechanism here with a hole that goes through the big tube and into the bell crank. I really think that's a necessity. So that's it. That's the month in review. Most of the month was taken up with doing the coverings. Now, you know, these control surfaces, I was surprised with a number of things, but the ease of doing the fabric, I really expected it to be more difficult. I estimate there's about 3 hours of work in each of these. But unfortunately, it's not 3 hours straight. It's 10 minutes today and another 10 minutes tomorrow and 10 minutes the next day. So it takes you forever to do them, but there's not very much work in doing them. So yeah, but it's easy. It's easy to do. Don't be frightened of it. That's the update. We're so now hopefully you've all caught up with where I'm at. So the next time you see it, hopefully the wings will be off and I'll be applying some fabric. That's about it. It's looking good. I'm pretty happy with it. Very happy indeed. It's getting closer and closer. Yeah, nothing else to show you, I don't think. Everything's pretty good. These are some of the final parts. These are the fairings that goes between the two wings. There's four of them. 2 of them go between the 2 upper wings. And I'm thinking the other 2 will extend, we're looking underneath the aeroplane now, will extend from here across to the fabric. Something like that. But I need the fabric on so I can see where I'm actually going with it. And that's it. The engine's fairly well all connected up. I do need to install proper fuel lines. These I've just put these plastic tubes here to reserve the space, so I know where they've got to run, and they will be replaced with proper fuel line with this fire sleeve over the top of it as well. So yeah, don't panic. I'm not going to use plastic tubing in the engine bay. Okay. I'm not sort of over happy with the way this piece goes at the front here, so I'm probably going to install a piece of balsa that sort of goes here like this somehow. This might actually be the one for the other side, in fact, but that's something like that. Yeah, this is the one for the other side, but yeah, and then shape this so that I can blend it in and the fabric will stick to that. Otherwise there's going to be, you know, you put the fabric here and there's going to be a gap. There's going to be a gap here that the fabric's not going to be sticking to. So that's what I intend to do, see how that goes. But yeah, there we go. That's it. I think that'll do for the update. Thank you very much. Hope you have a lovely December. Bye now.